Hey everyone, it's Friday, August 14th, 2020. Welcome to episode 24 of the Ginger and the Beard podcast. On this week's episode, as always, we'll be drinking a couple of tasty craft beers, covering a ton of news in the world of UFC, talking about Fortnite's ban from the iOS App Store and Google Play Store, Microsoft's announcement of the Surface Duo, and confirmation of a new Walking Dead VR game.
All right, let's do this.
What's up, guys? I'm AJ, aka the Ginger.
And I'm Reese, aka the Beard. I can't wait to talk about all of this fun and exciting news. But before we do, how was your week, my man?
It was good. This week flew by pretty fast, honestly. I got a lot of stuff going on at work, a lot of stuff going on at home. My wife's got stuff going on at home. You know, it's just been a crazy week, but a lot of good stuff happened. Got a new shed delivered.
Ooh, you got a new shed?
Yeah, that was like highlight of the week. New shed in the backyard. It's like a legit Amish built shed. It looks just like a house. It's like legit a mini house.
I saw you on Instagram, man. I saw you in there.
I know. I'm like, why not? Let's go record a video inside the shed.
That's cool. That is cool.
But yeah, just some crazy work stuff, new job roles sort of stuff, and Shayna's side business is taking off like a wildfire. It's pretty cool, but she's also super slammed all day, every day, which is good. And it's a good problem to have, you know. But busy week. It flew by. I'm excited to be here, ready to get into this stuff. But what about your week, man? How was it?
Not bad. Super happy for you to get that shed, man. I know, when you moved into that house, you mentioned that you wanted to get a shed. And the day has finally come. I remember going there and looking at that house with you.
I know.
My wife and I went with you guys to go check it out. And here you are still there. And now you got that shed you've been wanting. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, man. Moving up.
Finally. That's cool. For me, week's been just like you said, man, just really crazy. Life's been crazy. I want to share a short story with the viewers real quick because I've already told you about it. Guys, my wife and I have been getting stuff worked on at our house, a lot of stuff done there. Saturday, we had a bunch of people over to work on our attic and to work on some other things. My wife was letting our dog out at 4:30 in the morning, and we have a fenced-in backyard, and we have a little garden with some cantaloupes and some fresh-smelling fruits growing on there. And 4:30 in the morning, my dog goes running out there in a fury, barking, yapping his head off. My wife thinks is there a man back there? Oh no. Is there a murderer? What the heck is that?
Stranger danger.
And so she's yelling at him to get back in the house. Get back in the house, get to safety. And so she runs, gets him, picks him up, runs him back into the house, gets into the door, takes a deep breath, realizes, why am I so wet right now? Why is our dog Hulk's his name? Why is he soaking wet right now?
Oh no.
She takes that breath. Oh no! It was a skunk. Oh my God, guys. This was the worst smell I have ever smelled in my entire life. I can laugh about it now, but in the moment it was horrendous. It was a nightmare. And we had to clean him up for like a good hour. We spent the rest of the day cleaning around the house, trying to get the smell out. And you can only do so much, right? And so as these guys are coming in to work on our house, we're stopping them at the door. Hey, buddy, real quick before you come in, dog got sprayed with a skunk. Sorry that you got to smell this for the next couple hours that you're here. So, but, we're kind of through it now. There's still some lingering smell here and there.
Oh, no.
But I think we did a fantastic job cleaning it up because it was so bad. And oh my God, dude.
Man,
don't ever get sprayed by a skunk.
You guys have just had a rough go lately. That's just the icing on the cake, the cherry on top.
There it
Hulk
is,
gets
man.
sprayed by a skunk.
one thing after another. Just had to get him sprayed by a skunk.
Jeez.
Oh,
Sorry that
gosh.
happened, man. I'm so sorry that happened. But, you probably think the smell's gone, but I think your nose is probably just blind to it at this point.
Oh no, it definitely is. But like, so when we would go out of the house, like for the first 2 days and come back in, like every time you'd walk back in, you would get hit by the smell again and be like, oh my God. And it's definitely, as much as we cleaned him, we shaved his ears, we shaved a lot of the hair off of him. It got in his ear canal. It got inside of his ear canal. So there's only so much you can do, right? So if you smell that dog's ear, you're in for a rude awakening.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's fair warning. All you dog ear sniffers out there, watch out.
Just watch out. Don't be smelling my dog's ears. All right, guys. Before we move on, we're going to move into our What You Drinkin' section. I'm very excited for it. I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to follow us here on Twitch. We would certainly appreciate it. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on your favorite podcast player. And if you really want to help, guys, share it with a friend. Guys and gals, share it with a friend. As always, we appreciate your support. We love doing it, and we're glad you're here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
All right, guys. AJ, you ready to talk about some beer?
I'm ready to talk about and consume some beer, sir. Let's do that.
Sweet. Be right back. Hey, welcome back. What you drinking? Let's get into it. AJ,
Yes.
sir, you want to start us off and tell us what you're drinking today?
I would love to do that. I would love nothing more than that right now. And really quick, another shout out to the voters out there. We had a really great turnout this week. Our polls on Instagram were lighting up. So happy you guys are participating in that.
Nice.
If you're not already, make sure you follow us on Instagram. Check us out at least on Thursdays because we throw up polls to let you guys vote on what beers we are drinking live on the show. And I say reviewing, but kind of just like giving our thoughts. I don't really call it a review, but that's kind of term I used. Anyways, you can see here on the picture, that's me in my shed, by the way. Check that cool shed out.
I saw your face, dude. I was dying. It's like, look at this guy.
I know. I gotta make stupid faces all the time.
That's
Shayna's
awesome.
like, "Why do you always make such weird faces?" I was like, "I don't know. It's just fun. Why not?"
Why not? Absolutely. You should.
Yeah. So it's for me this week. It was between the Space Cake IPA from Clown Shoes Brewing, but for 3 weeks in a row, that beer has lost. I'm not really sure what's happening with that. But the winner this week, Von Trapp Brewing out of Vermont, the Maple Rock. I think I'm pronouncing that properly. Rock. It's actually a German word, so I guess, I don't know. Any Germans out there, let me know if I'm saying that right. But this is a rock beer lager, 6.2% ABV, only 20 IBUs. Definitely not expecting anything too bitter out of this. And so I did some research because I just like taking this opportunity to like learn more about these beers because, we like to educate ourselves. And so I was like, what is a rock beer? I've never heard of that before. So I did some research, and what that actually translates to in German is smoke beer.
Ooh.
Interestingly enough. So while I pour this here away from my keyboard, you guys go ahead and check this out.
Made with real maple syrup. Oh, man, look at that. Blacker than oil.
Oh, man.
That is way darker than I expected, man.
I know. Look at that.
Oh, my God.
Man.
There's bacon bits in that thing.
The aromas coming off of that is delicious. Yeah, so you kind of hit it on the head just now. It's called smoke beer. That's what it translates to. And so it turns out a few hundred years ago, back in the day when the Germans are brewing their beer, they're using direct fire in the malting process, which injects a smoky flavor into the beer. So they still kind of do this sort of practice today. I guess a little bit less probably smoky, but the description here from Von Trapp themselves is a blend of Munich and Carafa malts. Give this lager its deep hue and full body, balanced with noble hops. The maple rounds out this lager perfectly. So let me ask you, Reese, are you a fan of maple bacon donuts?
I am. How'd you know?
Yes. I don't know. Because if you're not a fan, then we should probably not be friends anymore.
Shout out Duck Donuts. Shout out Duck
So
Donuts.
when I was doing some research on this, it says that rock beers are sometimes referred to as bacon beers as well because they have a bacon smoky flavor. So combine that with some maple from Vermont, known for their maple. This can only be delicious. So let's give it a sip.
Oh, I'm so jealous right now. It looks so good. Ooh.
Definitely smoky.
Okay.
Full-bodied for sure. Very smooth. Sometimes like really smoky porters and stuff are like really off-putting. But that is very well balanced. I'm not getting as much of the maple as I kind of was hoping for. But sometimes it takes a couple extra sips. Let's try that. Yeah, I mean, I'd say if any critique, I'd like to have a little bit more maple there. A little more noticeable in that, but it's very smoky. If you're into like the darker, smokier beers, this actually would probably be a really good fall beer, to be honest with you guys, because it really does remind me of like a porter. Not quite stout level, but yeah, really good. I mean, definitely would recommend checking that out if you have any nearby. So shout out Von Trapp for the delicious beer. Once again, Maple Rock.
Nice,
Go get you some.
I'm gonna have to, because
yeah,
I actually have had a rock before, not realizing it. My brother turned me on to him, and he was like, "Oh, dude, you got to try this beer. It tastes like bacon." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, yeah, man, of course." This was like 5 years ago, and I guess that was when I had one. But so overall, you liked it? Pretty good?
Yeah, I really do. I like I said, I kind of wish it had a little bit more of the sweetness. I've had like a candied bacon stout before from a local brewery, Wasserhund, or Wasserhund. I guess they're also kind of a German inspired. And it was definitely, I mean, stouts, you pull out a lot more of the sweetness, I feel like. And I got a lot from that, but this one, do kind of wish there was more of that maple flavor, but still definitely a good beer.
Okay.
But what about you, man? What did the voters give you this week?
What did the voters give me? I was, wasn't sure what I was, what was going to win this week. I was kind of happy with either one. And I thought it was going to be a little bit closer, but what a landslide, man. 80% to 20%. Another good turnout of voters as well. But the good old Albino Monkey by Strange Ways Brewing took the lead. I got them both sitting right here. Wham, bam, bam, bam. Albino Monkey is the winner. So, guys,
Yes.
let me go ahead and give you a little bit of information about this. Strange Ways Brewing is out of Richmond, Virginia. And little fact, the guy that started Strange Ways was like instrumental in getting some of the legislation passed so that breweries could operate in like warehouses a lot of the different warehouses that you see today.
Interesting.
Yeah, so go ahead and check them out. That guy's instrumental in that, so bravo there. So a little bit about the beer. It's 5% ABV, 25 IBUs. So I'm not much on the IBUs. I usually like them a little bit less. So hopefully it's not too overwhelming for me. It's a Belgian style white ale with coriander, orange peels, lemon peels, white pepper, and Virginia wildflower honey. Oh my. Let's crack into this sucker and see what we're in for.
Yeah, that's quite the assortment of ingredients there.
Yeah, man, I thought so too. On the bottle it just says white ale brewed with spices.
Could be anything.
Could be anything. Did you put pepper in here? Salt? Yeah. Who knows? Oh my god, that was like the first time that I got this to pop off so easily with this bottle opener. All right, let's bump into her. Okay.
Should have used the old teeth.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. That was unexpected, dude. What?
I haven't seen it yet. The stream's lagged. Oh no.
Look at all that head. That was totally unexpected.
Whoa, and I'm seeing it now on the stream.
Wow, dude, that came out like...
There's nothing but head.
Yeah.
It's all head, man.
I guess I got to pour it like way slower.
Interesting.
I can't even drink this. We're going to just drink it out of the bottle. Because I can't drink. That's way too much head. That is literally the first time that's ever happened to me on stream. Wonder why it came out like that.
I don't know. That's super weird. I mean, like not like it was warm or anything, right? It's straight from the fridge.
Sucker's colder than ice right now, and I poured it at 45 degrees. It just came out way too weird. Anyway, let's give it a taste.
Strange. Okay.
Oh man, it like, whoa. It like expands in your mouth. What? Okay. Man. Anybody that watches this, tell me, have you had one of these before? Is that what it's supposed to do? It literally just like foamed in my mouth, bro. What?
The funniest thing about this, I'm watching the stream, so I'm seeing this at the same time the viewers are, and it's like a minute. Oh, it's not quite a minute. It's probably like 20 seconds behind. So we're seeing your reaction with no words.
Even if you take like little sips of it, it like turns into foam in your mouth. I've never had a beer do this to me. I'm so confused right now, dude. This can't be right. Man. There's something wrong here.
I feel like you have the worst luck with beers. The other day you thought one was skunked.
Yeah, this is so weird. Well, okay, so I mean,
Strange Ways, man. It's called Strange Ways for a reason, I guess.
Guess so. Like, look at the foam is so dense, man. That's insane.
Just pour it in your mouth and just let it foam out like a zombie.
No. Oh man. So it's certainly golden in color. It's really interesting. Very golden color. Definitely spicy. It does say in some of the reviews that it has large white head. So I mean that's a bit of an understatement. There. I get the bitterness on the back end now that I've thought about it for a little bit. Certainly not a lot of bitterness up front. I'm so surprised when I take a sip of this that it's just all the foam.
I can't stop laughing, dude.
I could get a little bit of citrus for sure. A little bit of bitterness. Every time, man, it just expands in your mouth. I feel like I'm like at Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory right now, man. What is this? This is like you start drinking the bubbles and you start floating, I feel like I'm about to start floating because of this. Anyway.
How do they pour that off tap if it does that? Like, they would take you forever to pour a pint of beer.
This thing's got to be like overcarbon. I don't even know, man. That's so weird.
Oh, that's too funny.
Anyway, it's a little bit sweet, definitely spices, like abundantly spicy and malty, for sure. So yeah.
Well, if you can't end up getting through that one during the show, you should crack open that sweet water, because I've had that before and it's delicious.
I think I definitely will. I'm gonna drink this thing because the head's just about gone now. So I'm gonna just pour the rest of it out and see.
Maybe you have to do like one of those little finger swirl trick. I don't know if that'll help anything.
Yeah, I'm pouring it so slow, and it's just like
expanding.
Yeah. Look, it's like almost halfway full of foam again. Wow. All right. Well,
that was entertaining.
That was very interesting. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Overall, I probably wouldn't drink it again because it's like overwhelming for me. But I'm gonna drink it tonight. Maybe by the end of the stream, I'll have changed my mind. We'll see.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, moving on from that was just that's so funny, man. I can't wait to watch that back. This is hilarious. But
oh my gosh,
we got some more exciting beer news to actually talk about.
Yes, we
do. I
think
we should get into that. You guys know I'm a Farmhouse Brewing fan. Obviously, I got the Farmhouse Brewing t-shirt on. They're local to Virginia Beach.
Nice.
They announced this week a new Goza that's coming out soon. I'm not sure if you have the image up because the stream is delayed, but
Ric Flair's Strawberry Ice Goza.
Ric Flair's. Woo! Nature Boy. Hopefully got some wrestling fans out there, some older wrestling fans. Ric Flair. They come out with the Strawberry Goza. Sounds delicious. Unfortunately, it was supposed to come out this weekend, tomorrow actually, but it got pushed back due to technical difficulties. But if you're local to Hampton Roads, make sure you check this one out. I think it was supposed to launch alongside an event that was going on at the brewery, But looking forward to the announcement of the new date. So obviously, maybe we'll keep you guys posted on that.
I can't wait to find out, man.
I mean, how awesome is that can, though?
Look at him, dude. I love the art, man. He sucker's
so
he looks like he's in a banana boat. Zooming along with an icy in his hand, a snow cone.
Yeah, man. I feel like we should drink that on stream and like dress up as Ric Flair.
Oh, I got the perfect shirt.
Limousine riding, jet flying, Rolex wearing.
Is that what he says?
Fun. Yeah, it's like his thing. He says.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You gotta look up some Ric Flair.
I just remember
clips.
I just remember him coming in and doing his woo thing.
Woo!
Like, woo! I don't want to do it too loud. I'll blow your guys' ears out, but yeah.
Yep.
All right. That's cool. I got a little bit of news to go off of that, so you got to let us know when we get a chance to try that out. Maybe ship some up to me, help me out, a little bit. Anyway.
Keep an eye out
guys.
through the door.
What?
So keep an eye out. You never know. Something might show up.
Yeah. All right. You don't have to. You don't have to. I was playing. Anyway, guys, I got a quick. I'm not sharing anything on the screen right now, but I will share it in the description on the YouTube video, and you guys should go check it up yourself. It's a recipe. It's a DIY short and shoddy style Trappist single. So the Beer Judge Certification Program, or BJCP, describes this type of beer as a pale, bitter, highly attenuated and well-carbonated Trappist ale showing a fruity, spicy Trappist yeast character, a spicy floral hop profile, and a soft, supportive, grainy, sweet malt palate. I've never had a Trappist single. I've always had the doubles, triples, and quads. So I definitely want to try this at some point in my life. It's a cool little recipe. It'll probably take you all day to get it prepped, and then you probably have to let it sit for 5 weeks before you can drink it. So you're going to definitely need some utensils. This recipe has it all in there. And I just felt like it was kind of cool. There wasn't a whole lot else to share. And I found this and I was like, you know what? A 5-week beer that you can do at home. You can make, I think 5 gallons of beer with this recipe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have to have like all the typical home brewing supplies to do it? I guess so, right?
No, not necessarily. I think that you're probably going to have to spend some cash to buy a couple things. Certainly, there is going to be some investment in this equipment, but it's not like a large scale production that right. Typically you have to buy like a lot of different stuff. This is a short and shoddy style recipe, which means it's easy, DIY, low investment. So I'm going to share this link with you guys in the description. If you're interested in checking it out, make sure to do so. You could find it on brewlosophy.com. If you look up short shoddy Trappist single, that'll take you straight there if you don't feel like looking at the link. And I'll share that with you guys. And, maybe if I do it someday, I'll share it on stream and we can all talk about it.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think brewing beer is like I'm just refusing to try to get into home brewing because I know it'll consume my life.
Yeah.
I'll become addicted to it.
I want to. I feel like it's something that I'm going to have to do at some point in my life. Like I'm going to have to make my own beer, right? Just to get the experience,
True. Good point.
All right, man. That's all I got. I think we're done talking about beer. I'm going to keep sipping on this foam, and I'm ready to talk about some fights, bro. We got some big fights coming up this weekend, and I know we got some good news. So let's jump into it.
Lots of news. Yep, let's do it.
Sweet. All right, guys, here we are. Time to talk about some MMA.
UFC Shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should like write little, what do you call those? Jingles, like for commercials for each of our segments. UFC Shenanigans.
Coming at you again.
Boom, 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 boom.
In your face.
Well, until next time, maybe we'll have some of those. But we've got some exciting news. I do want to do a quick shout out here. If you guys do not or have not listened to our Weigh-Ins spin-off series, it's a series in which we spend 100% of our time, about an hour each week, talking just exclusively about UFC. So if you come to this show for UFC news, we also usually are drinking some beer that night as well. So a little bit of beer stuff happening there too. Make sure you tune in on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. to see that live, or you can also find it on YouTube or your favorite podcast players. So check that out. This past episode, we talked about our predictions for UFC 252, which takes place tomorrow night. Cannot wait. So if you want to hear our full predictions for that fight card, make sure you check that out.
Absolutely.
But today, we've got lots of interesting news to talk about, which we'll probably move kind of swiftly through since we will also have next week's episode to kind of go a little bit deeper. So I'm going to kick us off here. We've talked about Paige VanZant a few episodes in a row now, so I'm not going to spend too much time on her, but I do want us just to kind of add some closure to something we talked about previously. There were some rumors that she'd be signing with Bare Knuckle FC, and that has been made official. Paige VanZant has signed with Bare Knuckle FC, so she's going to be out there getting some cuts, getting some scars. I don't understand the decision. They must be paying her big monies to do that. But all I really want to say about it is, may plastic surgery be ever in your favor, Paige VanZant. You're going to need some serious scar removal. And I feel bad for you.
What a terrible decision. I have nothing else to say about it, but
yes,
there should not be a bare knuckle fighting championship.
It's brutal. It's brutal for men. I can't imagine. I refuse to watch it. I just don't think I can watch it. I don't think I can stomach it, honestly. People getting cut up on their face like that. Your knuckles are like little razor blades, man. These are tiny little bones. And you're hitting people you're throwing elbows. And I mean, elbows happen in the UFC, obviously, but these little knuckles are like mini elbows. You're just bashing your face against. It's just insane.
Yeah.
And I don't know how people stand it. I don't know how people stand it. But, there's some crazy people out there that can take a lot of pain. But do you want to know who cannot take a lot of pain, Reese?
I do.
It's a UFC prospect. He was a really big prospect. Max, I don't know how I'm saying his name right. Rohskopf?
Sure. Okay.
Max Rohskopf, he was a prospect for the UFC. He came out about a month ago in his UFC debut against Austin Hubbard. You guys may recall this. There was a big controversy about a month ago because Max is one of the only fighters, I don't think I've ever seen this actually happen before, who quit the fight himself, not his corner, not a referee. He quit the fight himself in between rounds 2 and 3 of his UFC debut. And, at first Dana White stood behind the decision, like, hey, if he is making the decision between rounds that he just doesn't have it in him to continue on, then he should have that right to throw in the towel. And Dana essentially said, like, hey, who are you guys to judge? You guys come into this octagon and try the same thing, and then you tell me if it's not cool to quit in a fight like that. Well, the news came out a couple of days ago that UFC has released Max Rohskopf from his UFC contract because he quit in between rounds.
Wow.
Or to be clear, let me just say, I'm not sure if that's exactly why they released him, but that's the speculation. He's had one fight in the UFC, and that's what happened, and now he's released. So really interesting. I'm not sure if you saw this fight, but I didn't see it live. I went back and rewatched it just to kind of formulate my own opinion about it rather than hearing what else everyone else says.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like, my initial thought going into it was, yeah, sure, if he's damaged enough to where he feels like he's not all together in the head, even though he wasn't knocked out, then fair enough. But watching it back, he took a lot of serious blows in the second round. Even though the first round he came out looking pretty strong, he was trying to get a submission victory. But Austin Hubbard in the second round just started piecing him up and landing some heavy shots. But nothing that didn't look like a UFC fighter should be able to sustain. Obviously, we're not in his head. We don't really know what's going on up there. but he looked completely coherent in between rounds. He just looked extremely defeated, embarrassed. He felt like he was in over his head, it looked like. And in between rounds, he just threw in the towel, and his coaches tried to convince him to keep going. You're like, you got this. You're a champion. You can get, take him to the ground, wrestle him. But he wasn't having it. So, in his favor, or in his credit, to be fair, he had 10 days to prepare for the fight. He was a fill-in for another fighter, so he didn't have a lot of time to train, get up his endurance, and he was also fighting somebody who had I want to say at least three or four more UFC fights than he had. So someone with more experience, but he was just a human punching bag in that second round. And, Dana, like I said, originally backed his decision to quit, but now not looking like that at this point. So any thoughts from you on that? Like, what do you think about somebody getting released for something like that?
I think that there's probably more to it than meets the eye, right? There's probably they're probably thinking about some liability issues, and if this guy goes out there and gets beat to a pulp and dies or something, they don't want to have to deal with that. And so having somebody quit, Dana White said before, he's looking for people that want to go to the top and win the championship belt. And if somebody's going to quit in between rounds, well, clearly they're not championship material. And it doesn't fall in line with his core values, right? So I can understand why he would get rid of him. I think it just makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of people in the industry, analysts, other media, are saying that if somebody, it's a UFC debut and you quit in between rounds like that, you only had 10 days notice, win or loss, or no matter how the fight plays out, you should get a second fight after that one if you only had 10 days notice.
Yeah.
I can see that perspective. If he came out and got knocked out first round, his UFC debut, he just embarrassed himself, I could see a second fight. But like you said, Dana White's looking for somebody who's going to come out there and, really want to fight for that title. And to me, it just looked like his spirit wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just couldn't handle the pressure, I guess. Couldn't handle I'm saying embarrassment. Who knows how he actually felt, but coming out there, being this very hyped up prospect, and then starting to get pieced up like that, I think he seemed like he just kind of felt embarrassed and, defeated. So quitting on something like that, I don't know. Should it have resulted in being released? The bad thing is this goes and kind of sets a little bit of a precedent for other fighters. Unfortunately, there are coaches and corners and refs, well, maybe not refs, coaches and corners who are going to refuse to stop the fight if their fighter is in bad shape.
Right.
Look at the Tony Ferguson Justin Gaethje fight. Nobody tried to stop that when Tony Ferguson clearly was not there. It came down to the referee.
Right.
So you've got coaches who are going to push their fighter to the absolute extent of their ability. So in the case where the fighter actually is severely hurt and their coach isn't stopping it, the fighter should feel comfortable stopping it, themselves. But unfortunately, this sets a bad precedent. Now they feel like even more so that they can't stop the fight themselves for fear of being released from their contract.
I can understand your point. I think that, using Tony as an example, you got a guy that's, got a ton of experience and he's been in there and they're at the top of the ladder, right?
Yep.
We're talking about a guy now that got released. He's at the bottom of the pool. He's fighting against somebody else that maybe has more experience than him, but still is not a contender in any way, really. And so Dana White's saying, why would I give this guy a second shot? Because if I give him a second shot, who knows what's going to happen? What if, because Dana's, on top of everything, he's looking out for these guys as well and thinking, I'm not going to give this guy another shot. If he's going to quit again or if he's going to get annihilated, he doesn't want to put him back in there to see that, No. You could look at it two ways, right? You could look at it from what's best for the fighter. Do they deserve another shot? Maybe. But how risky is it for you to give them another shot? And that's probably what they were thinking is, well, this seems pretty risky. We probably should try and mitigate that risk and just cut them.
True. Yeah, I can see that.
But I also could be wrong. So I'm not sure. That's what I'm thinking. Who knows?
I'm sure Dana will come out and make a statement at some point.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right about that. I got a little bit more news. I got a couple quick ones that we can go through. Starting off with good old Khabib versus Conor. Are we going to see another fight? Who knows, right? Who knows? But Khabib has released a statement basically saying what it would take for him to give Conor a rematch. He said it's going to be under one condition. Let him come back and defeat Dustin Poirier. Then we will fight with him. No problem. So, that's
Interesting.
He's got to come back and beat somebody that he's already beaten before.
Yeah, interesting. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I thought Khabib already kind of said he wants to fight Justin, and then he wants to fight GSP. And that's going to be his last two fights. So now I'm confused.
He's probably just talking stuff because he's already said multiple times before that he'll never fight Conor again because there's no point to it. He's just going to be the same thing. He's just going to destroy him.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had. Something real quick. It was kind of exciting. Everybody loves hearing about Conor, so I figured I'd throw it in there. But I mean, I don't think it'll ever happen again. I don't think Conor wants none of that.
He don't want that smoke.
He don't want that smoke.
He don't want that rock.
No.
Maple rock.
He sure don't want that. He might want that rock, but he doesn't want that smoke. Anyway, moving on. Jon Jones, as far as I know, he's still considered retired because I think that's what he said last. But who knows if that's true or not? I'm sure he's probably still talking to Dana. Dana White came out and said that if Jon stays at light heavyweight, he's got to fight Dominic Reyes again. And here's his quote. It depends on what he does, White said. Does he move up to heavyweight? If he stays at lightweight, he's got to fight Reyes again. You got to see the Reyes fight again. And if he moves up to heavyweight, there's a lot of interesting matchups. He could fight Cormier. He could fight Stipe, depending on who wins on Saturday, tomorrow. He could fight Francis Ngannou. There's a lot of fun fights for him at heavyweight. So, I think I can see that. We were talking a lot about Thiago Santos maybe having to fight Dominic, but I think Reyes won that fight, man. I think he won that fight, and I think they need to do it again if he's going to stay at light heavyweight. And so does Dana.
I want to see, if I had to pick, I'd really want to see that Thiago Santos fight again. Oh my gosh, so good. But dude, Francis Ngannou and Jon Jones, holy crap, I want to see that. I love how Dana White says there are a lot of fun fights for him at heavyweight. Man, you think it's fun to stand in front of Francis Ngannou and get your face smashed in? Come on.
The hardest hitting puncher in the UFC.
Yeah, fun for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, Jones has never been knocked out, but there's always a first.
There's a first time for everything.
Francis hits hard, man.
Oh my gosh.
Hard.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I would love to see the Reyes fight again. I do also kind of agree with you. I think he won that fight. But, somebody needs to come out and really dominate.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Let's see what happens next. Final bit of news, guys. We got Donald Cerrone versus Nico Price coming up in about a month, September 19th. Donald Cerrone is going to attempt to break out of his 4-fight slump when he meets Nico Price next month. Cerrone's 36-15 in his MMA career, 23-12 in the UFC. So, 2/3 of his fights he's won. Price is 4-6 in the UFC, losing most recently to Vicente Luque. So they're both coming off a loss and trying to, break that losing streak. Nico's certainly not as well known as Donald, but nothing to be, passed over for sure. They verbally agreed to a welterweight matchup on UFC September 19 event. It's going to be at the Apex Center in Vegas, and MMA Junkie came out with this information. A couple people wanted to stay confidential, I think, is that the word? Unannounced. Anonymous basically. And so
anonymous. Yeah, that's interesting because he's ranked at lightweight. Cerrone's ranked at lightweight, not welterweight, and Nico Price is not ranked at all. So definitely interesting.
I think they're trying to give Donald like an easy win, maybe, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if he's going to be that one. I don't know if that Nico's going to be it, but
I don't think so.
What I'm seeing and what I'm not seeing is that Cerrone's becoming one of those gatekeeper fighters. He's never had a belt. He's a legend. He's got the most wins in the sport, I think, or most wins in the UFC. I don't know, maybe most knockouts also, but yeah, man, this losing streak is a bummer to watch because he's a guy that you just love to watch fight, and he's a great person. Like, he seems like a great person. He's a dad now. Just seems like a real down to earth guy, very humble, very respectful after fights. Right. So I hate seeing him lose. I really would like to see him do well.
Yeah, I agree. So, who knows how it's going to go. Hopefully it's an entertaining fight for, if anything. It'd be nice to see Donald win. It would kind of suck to see Nico Price lose, though, I think, because, he's kind of an up-and-comer. So, is it past Donald's time, and is it time for new people to show up? Who knows? I don't like to think of him as a gatekeeper, but I agree, man. Yep. That's kind of what it looks like.
Starting to look that way. All right,
bud. That's it.
Time we start to talk about some technology.
All right, man. I'm going to go ahead and transition us right on over.
All right. Be right back.
All right, guys, we're back. Hopefully none of that goes on.
Okay.
Jeez.
All right. We realize we're about 45 minutes in already, so we got a lot of stuff still to cover. We want to be respectful, be mindful of everyone's time. So I'm going to try to move through some of this stuff really quick. I got a couple of stories I'm going to kick us off with here in the tech news. Very big impact stories, though. So I might move through them fast, but just realize these are big impact things you should definitely look more into on your own, I would say. So to kick us off here, Foxconn. If you guys don't know who Foxconn is a manufacturer of Apple iPhones. So they make CPUs and things like that for the iPhone. They have many locations, but primarily they operate within China. But due in part to Trump's tariffs on China, Foxconn could be moving its operations out of China.
Wow.
Maybe multiple countries involved, including the U.S., but what does this mean for other companies? So, obviously you guys know there's a lot of stuff going on in China. Trump's putting tariffs to kind of, quote unquote, punish them for that kind of stuff. But the real question here is if Foxconn moves out of China, what does that mean for tech companies, especially Apple, who has all that manufacturing going on within that company? Well, I'll tell you what it means. Foxconn operating in China means lower wage rates, means cheaper labor. So instantly where your mind goes to is more expensive hardware. If it costs them more to manufacture, that cost is going to get passed down to the consumer at some point. So that could mean, we may see an increase. We always see an increase in price with newer iPhones, but an even steeper increase for future iPhones. So Apple's always been designed in California but built in China. So if this does happen, if Foxconn moves out of China, this could be definitely a big impact down the road for consumers. And not to mention, this could affect Apple's bottom line as well. So speaking of Apple's bottom line, there are rumors that Apple will be rolling out a Prime-like subscription service. So this is very interesting. So it could be called Apple One, and what this essentially means is that they'll be bundling together services together in one price. So if right now you are somebody who's paying, X number of dollars for Apple TV, for Apple Arcade, Apple Music, for your cloud storage, for your news subscriptions, all that stuff, there are rumors that suggest that later in the fall, we will see something called Apple One. That's kind of like the internal naming convention right now. But it'll be a Prime-like subscription model where you pay one fee and you get all of those subscriptions. So it's expected to be announced in September when they announce the new iPhones, unless that event obviously gets pushed back due to the coronavirus, and could be rolled out in October. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one specifically. You know, how this works with Amazon. You pay Amazon Prime fee right now. That includes Prime Music, Prime Movies, or what is it called? Prime Video.
Yeah.
So do you think this would be a good model for people? You know, I personally think that it's a lot simpler. It's a lot easier to manage. You know, being an iOS user, there's so many different subscriptions you can, and they add up really fast. So do you think this would be a good move for Apple?
So it's interesting. I can actually talk about this with a little level of expertise because my company deals with these types of subscription models. And it would be good for Apple, and it probably would be good for some consumers. I'm not sure if I would say most consumers, because likely what they're going to do is they're going to hit you with these package deals where they're going to say, you have to get this whole package, even if you're not going to use half of it.
Yep.
Now you're only going to be able to get this. It's just like the cable company's done. You know?
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay. You're going to have to end up paying more, so it's going to hurt the consumers, right? Most consumers it'll probably hurt because you'll probably have to pay for more services that you're not going to use. You're going to have access to those services, which is great. Some consumers are going to be like, oh, awesome. All I ever use is Apple. So you're telling me now I get it all for cheaper and it's all bundled together? Awesome. That's great. And that makes sense. What they're trying to do is incentivize you to move into, use more of their platforms only so that you can save some money, right? And it's a great strategy. It makes sense. And, they're going to be able to increase their revenue. They're going to have more stable revenue, less risky revenue. I totally get it, and I think it makes sense. Does it help the consumer? I would say probably that, like, their intention is to help the consumer. That's what they're saying. They're like, we're going to make this great for you.
Oh, yeah,
but it's really, we're going to make this great because of our bottom line.
Right.
And I get that. But, some people are going to love it. Some people are going to be like, damn it, now I don't even want to buy this at all because now I got to pay for all this crap. Anyway, that's my thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, marketing works wonders. I work in marketing, so I know how that works. You can message things and spend things however you want. But you're right. Yeah, I mean, this definitely helps the bottom line because they probably, what I've researched is that Apple Arcade, which is their game subscription model, I actually pay for Apple Arcade just to get some of the cooler games that are out there, and also Apple News Plus. They have not received as much revenue as they had expected to when they rolled those products out. Even though there's a lot of great content out there, so this is probably a way to get more exposure on those platforms. But to your point, it's like when you go to Verizon and you say, hey, I need internet at my house. They're like, oh, well, okay, well, so yeah, we have to sell you the cable package and also a home phone telephone number. You now have a home phone number. And I'm like, dude, I haven't owned a home phone since ever. So
I'm
why?
sorry, boomer? What? Boomer? No.
Yeah. Okay, boomer.
Boomer.
So yeah, that's a good point for sure. So, we have to wait a few weeks to see what's going to come of that. September's going to be here before you know it. And then, we'll see if anything becomes announced there. But Microsoft has actually just made a really big announcement of their own. They announced the Surface Duo, which we shipped to open image of that. Official release date for the Surface Duo of September 10th. Coming to you guys at the very affordable price. One easy payment of $1,400. Sorry, I just gagged a little bit.
Leave.
To be fair, you're paying essentially for two phones in one, so it could be higher. It definitely could be higher. There's been rumors around for a long time about a Surface phone because Microsoft finally did something right with their hardware design. Microsoft has been doing very well with their hardware design, and many industry professionals have been begging for a Surface phone. So this is kind of what we get. This is a dual screen, flip open, got a hinge there in the middle with two screens. It's a foldable device. It runs Android 10, even though it's a Windows device. It's running Android 10, continuing that partnership. We'll have complete access to the Google Play Store. And I think, just what I've watched through videos and early impressions and things like that, there's a lot of interesting features. To be frank with you guys, I don't think this is a product for me. I just don't see the use case for myself right now. Maybe as a work device, I can maybe see it like using it as like note taking and then transitioning into phone. I don't know, but what you're seeing on the screen here is a screenshot where it's looking at, I think there's like a maps. It's hard to tell in the image, but basically looking at information of a specific venue, and then some sort of messaging application on the right-hand side. So that's kind of the promise of this thing. Like, you can be looking at something in Google Maps, and when you click to view the website of that specific place, you don't lose your place in maps. The map stays up on the left-hand screen, and then the information you're looking for appears on the right-hand screen, so you have all that information in one place. Obviously, you can use this for messaging and things like that as well. Kindle, apparently, Amazon Kindle is going to be releasing an app where you can do some page flipping across the two screens. So some interesting stuff to come from that. Still more to come there. They just announced it a couple of days ago and started showing off some of these features. But it's got less than new. I don't know. That's kind of a bad way to say that. It doesn't have the newest internals. It's got a Snapdragon 855 processor. That's a generation or so old. 11 megapixel camera, so you're definitely not taking any beautiful images on this thing. A 3500 milliamp dual battery, 128 gigabytes of storage with a 256 gigabyte option. That right there was a little bit off-putting to me, is you've got a device as large as this geared towards working professionals. I would feel like you would have more storage options. But I'm curious, like, do you ever see a use case for this in your life? Your day-to-day, you needing two screens?
I feel like I want to say yes, right? But at the same time, I feel like there's some hesitation here where it seems a bit clunky and doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like, I'm sitting here using two screens right now on my computer. They're huge screens, and I use them all the time to multitask. I'll have something over there and something over here, and I'm reading off of that one and using it over here for this one. And like, in that instance, I see what they did there. That makes sense. But like, on my phone, I mean, it's not that complicated just to like have maps up and then just remember the address and then just like flip over.
Right. Yeah, we've put so much attention on quick switching between apps. The RAM. Some phones have 12 gigabytes of RAM. You're never gonna lose an app. Your apps usually aren't crashing in the background or restarting. Yeah, I really can't think of a use case, and I'm also thinking about usability. Like, look at that screenshot right now. You find what you look for. It pops over to the right-hand screen. How do you hold the right side of that phone to type into that message box?
Oh. Exactly. I didn't even think about that.
Most people hold their phones like this, right, to type, to text. So if you've got a second screen here, how do you like reach your thumb? You'd have to use one hand texting. I don't really understand how that works.
Yeah, man.
So, I look forward to more information coming out, some more reviews from our favorite tech peoples on YouTube to see what they think of it when they actually get their hands on it. So if any new revelations come about, we'll definitely keep everyone updated. And lastly for me...
Hey, actually, I actually want to do one of mine real quick because it kind of ties in with this whole, cell phone kind of idea.
Yeah,
and it's Nreal glasses, right? Nreal glasses are, they're, it's certainly not a cell phone, but it's augmented reality, and I'll explain to you here in a second. I'm gonna show a video on screen so you know what I'm talking about. Nreal glasses, altered reality, super interesting stuff. So right now, Korea is, releasing these this month. They're on pre-order from August 11th onward. They're bundled with the latest Samsung and LG smartphones, right? So that's why I'm kind of bringing this up now. As it sticks with the smartphones. So basically, it's going to be able to connect with Android smartphones to bring you your favorite apps, such as Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Google Chrome, to a life in an augmented reality, right? So you slip these suckers over your face. I'm really interested to see what it looks like when they're over your face. Like, I mean,
what are you seeing?
This is cyberpunk. This is the future. You're going to be walking around. There's going to be advertisements. There's going to be Google Chrome. There's going to be YouTube. Like, you could be driving with these on, walking down the street. Anyway, guys, really upsetting. This is bittersweet news because I think it's really cool that they're going to be released and they're going to be bundled in, but they're not going to be bundled in for you or I. It's only in Korea. It's only compatible with Android devices. It's exclusive to LGU Plus customers in South Korea, at least for the moment. Of course, you can always pick up the headset at full price over at nreal.ai. Now, I'm saying that, but I don't know how to read Korean, and Google Translate hasn't translated the site yet. So I don't know how to buy these yet, but they're going to be about $600 retail. Maybe you guys can go figure it out and tell me how to do it. I do know that they're going to be compatible with the Samsung Galaxy Note 20, and I'm blanking on the new LG device that's coming out. I'm pretty sure it's just the LGU Plus.
No idea.
That's not the point, though. It's basically that it's really cool that this is going to be coming out, and you guys probably see the video on the screen. Go check them out online. I really think that this might be the future, man. I think we're there.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. It looks like it's a wired connection to your phone, so I guess the wire runs down to your pocket where your phone's at. So that's definitely not the best experience, but, you know, if that's what it takes, the first step to get people interested, then, you know, I'm all about it. There still are.
Go ahead.
I would say there still are a lot. It still is a lot of talks about Apple releasing some sort of AR glasses. You know, and Apple has a way of releasing something and then causing a kind of a ripple effect in the industry where, you know, they can drive prices of, you know, hardware components down, which makes it more accessible for other companies to get involved, and drives the price down for consumers as well. So we might be getting close, man. We might be getting close.
I think so, man. This is one of the first steps. I know a lot of people that are in the virtual reality space are very excited for these glasses. Yeah, it does have to connect to your phone. I think you might have to have your phone in your hand, but I'm really excited to see these live in action. I got to get out there and find somewhere that lets you try them on and give it a go. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share that real quick. I thought like it fit in right there. So I'm gonna switch it back to you, man.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. So this sort of gadget is what you'd find at these crazy consumer electronics conventions. And speaking of which, CES is where you find stuff like this. Some people will call it vaporware, which means essentially the companies come out, show you this crazy technology, rollable displays, and all this sort of stuff. It's called vaporware because it never actually comes to fruition. It never gets to consumers. They might prototype some stuff to show off at the event. But CES 2021 has historically always been held in Las Vegas, an in-person event, usually about a week long. It's officially going to be taking place online only, and it's in January 6th through the 9th. So already forecasting out to the beginning of the year, again, due in part to coronavirus, taking all precautions, will be an online only event. I'm really kind of interested in this. Obviously, I've never been able to attend a CES event myself, but if it's an online event, registrations don't actually open until this fall. But I'm interested in seeing how this affects the price. You know, if CES kind of thinks about it and they're like, hey, no travel involved, no hotel stay involved, our costs should be much lower considering we don't have to rent the space. Why don't we make the ticket prices, registration fees a lot lower, decrease that barrier to entry, get more people to attend, right? We could have possibly have a much larger audience virtually. You know, I could see this even being free almost, to be honest with you.
Right.
So I'm excited to see, you know, when those registrations open up, what the cost actually is. And if it's affordable enough, I may actually attend my first CES virtually.
That would be cool. I think that this virtual, this is, I think, one of the examples where this probably hurts the companies that actually go there to show off their product, because a lot of these guys, this vaporware, they're going out there and they're trying to get bought by larger companies, right?
Yep.
So they've come up with some unique niche idea that, you know, no one's done yet. They're putting it out there. They're trying to get people interested so that they can get bought out by a larger company, walk away with a big paycheck. And so when you're not able to be there in person, you're not able to pick up the items. You're not able to hold the items. You're not able to like fiddle and play with the items. So you lose out on, and certainly you from a marketing perspective understand that there's value in holding something in your hands, being able to tangibly touch something.
Absolutely.
So I'm afraid for the people in those aspects. I'm very interested to see how this is going to go in a virtual space. Software companies should have no problem here, but hardware focused companies, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, absolutely. More to come.
Kind of tying in with CES maybe not CES, but virtual reality. Going back to virtual reality, guys. Venues. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. I vaguely remember hearing about it. Have you heard of it?
No, I was curious about this.
Okay, so the Oculus Store leaks a revamped version of Venues. So Venues has been out. It's a VR space basically where you can go to all right. The Venue's been Facebook's platform for live events in VR. They host sports, games, and concerts. And basically what's happened recently is it's leaked, but Oculus came out earlier today and said, yeah, this is happening. Yeah, we're confirming it. So the service is seeing a massive visual overhaul. You got these Horizon style avatars, which is just like a very cartoony looking avatar that the graphics they look very smooth. It looks very visually appealing, and it looks inviting for you to come into and experience. So the avatars adopt a cartoonish look. It's very likely that these are one and the same avatars being used in Facebook's Horizons, which is another new social VR app revealed late last year that we'll actually be learning a little bit more about in September. There's also a leak that basically there's going to be a hub to visit for different broadcasting. It's going to be like a theater for like broadcasting. So as soon as I heard that, my ears perked up. Being streamers, right? A venue for virtual reality broadcasting. I'm thinking
right.
Twitch streaming, but more tailored towards virtual reality viewers and users, which Twitch doesn't really cater to right now. There's not a big scene behind virtual reality broadcasting, and it's there's like no money in it right now. So if someone can come out with a site that people want to not only play in their VR headsets, but they want to come watch you right next to you in virtual reality, I would love to see that. And I think that, there is potential there that could take off and become the next Twitch or the next Mixer or something along those lines. So
yeah,
that's very interesting to me, and I need to check this out now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that sounds interesting, man. And I feel like Facebook's another one of those examples similar to Apple, where if they get involved in something and can kind of create some movement within an industry, obviously since they own Oculus, it should only inspire and encourage more. Well, this is me being an optimist. I tend to err on the side of positivity in all situations, but really Facebook's probably gobbling up as much of a market as they possibly can. But this seems like the way we're going to have to go with things. I've literally been fiending to go to a physical movie theater over the last few weeks to a month. Like my wife and I used to love going to watch movies in the theater, and we still can't do that to this point, which is such a bummer. So if we could, we don't have a VR headset, but if that's something in the future, we cop a couple VR headsets and can kind of get a virtual experience of that. That seems to be the way things are going to go. I don't really know about participating in a social VR aspect. I get on Facebook so rarely anyways, and don't interact with any of my friends on Facebook. I can't imagine being in a virtual space sup, dude.
Hey, sup, dude. Cheers, bruh.
Yeah, cool cat pics, bro. Yeah, so seen anything cool lately? All right, later. Just feels super awkward.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'd be cool to watch somebody standing right next to them, watching them play Beat Saber, though. Be like, oh, bro, that was so cool. How did you do that?
And with VR, it's you can almost be present with them in their game, that you're not playing. You're just kind of an audience member. There is something called, you should probably look into this too, since you have VR headset, Foo VR, FOO VR. there's a podcast and a website that I followed for a long time called Tested.com, and one of the founders left Tested.com and started Foo VR, and it's essentially a virtual reality like TV show. They interview different creators, creators of video games and things like that, and you can actually, if you are a viewer, you are there live with them as they're doing their like interview show, and the creator of the game or whatever can like bring objects from their video games and like show them off in virtual reality. Like, yeah, I'm just making this up. This is the sword that we designed for this game. And like, here's how we modeled it and things like that. And, it's kind of like a experiential experience. I don't know.
Oh, dude, this looks so cool. Yeah, I got to check this out.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So this is the future, man. It's the future.
Yep, especially with COVID, everybody's going to be wearing VR headsets to interact with each other.
Wally's happening. Wally, here we come.
Oasis is coming. Ready Player One, get ready.
Speaking of Ready Player One, it's time for some video games.
Yeah, there it is. There's that transition I was looking for. All right, guys, be right back. And we're back. We're back again. We're going to talk about some video games now. Let's jump right into it. I think I'm going to start us off, though. We got some epic free games. Every week, we come to you with the latest and greatest epic free games. Guys, this week, if you caught our show, our gameplay version about an hour ago, right before we started the podcast, we actually did a live presentation of this, so you can go check out our YouTube video later on if you want to see it. Remnant from the Ashes. It's a $39.99 value. It's an action shooter co-op video game, many consider it a Souls-like game. Very hard, actually.
So hard.
Much harder than I thought it would be. Give you a little bit of background, though. The world has been thrown into chaos by an ancient evil from another dimension. As one of the last remnants of humanity, you must set out alone or alongside up to 2 other survivors. We got to find somebody else to play with to face down hordes of deadly enemies and retake what was lost. It's pretty fun. Gotta say.
It's a lot of fun, man. I was trying to think of something funny to say with retake what was lost. Like, give me back my something. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything funny,
though. Give me back my bullets.
Give me back my... I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm too tired to think of anything.
Give me back my freedom to walk outside without a mask on.
Yeah. Oh!
Anyway.
Nice one. Good one. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I would, like Reese already said, definitely check out our YouTube video and see how we fared in this game. Lots of fun, very hard. Definitely check it out. 100% worth adding to your Epic Games library for $40 value. Yeah,
absolutely. Watch us try and beat the same level over and over again for 40 minutes.
So true.
I had fun. All right. The Alto Collection is another free game. It's a $10 value. It's an adventure indie single-player game. Very atmospheric, very interesting looking game that they're trying to, I think, pull you in with the visuals, right? So basically, it's you're sliding across an endless desert and atop in an alpine expanse. 2 journeys full of wonder await. Choose your path and set off on a thrilling snowboarding or sandboarding adventure with Alto and friends.
Yeah, if most of you have probably seen this. It's been a mobile game for a long time. Alto's Adventures, I think is what it's called. Like it says, an endless snowboarding experience. You have to jump over certain objects. You can slide on certain ropes, but you have to escape the deer things that are like chasing you down the slopes. It's really just experiential. You're supposed to put your headphones on, listen to the music, listen to the sound effects. It's beautiful design, really, really minimalistic, and just something to really relax to. So Epic Games, man, always putting out the free stuff. Check them out.
So epic.
So epic. What's not epic? Also, some Epic Game news. Fortnite, we alluded to at the top of the show, no longer available. They got the boot from the iOS App Store and Google Play Store.
What?
So if you go check out either of those, you might get a message that says, Fortnite don't live here no more.
Who this? New phone.
Yeah. New number, who this?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you cannot get Fortnite from the App Store or the Google Play Store any longer. And I'm going to tell you why. Because corporations are greedy. Apple wants to take 30%. Google Play Store wants to take 30% of all in-app purchases. Okay, guys, Fortnite is a free game. We all know this. They make their billions and billions of monies by in-app purchases, buying stupid skins for your character and stupid dance moves for your character. You can tell that I like Fortnite. So this is a big deal, though. This was major headlines, like all across all tech outlets, all gaming outlets. Because it is a big deal. A lot of people don't have access to PCs or consoles, and they play their games on their phones, but they can't anymore, especially if you're an Apple user. We saw this thing happen a while ago on Google when Fortnite originally released on Android. It was not available in the Play Store. That's because Epic did not want to adhere to the policies of Google, in which they would get 30% cut of all in-app purchases. So instead, they built a launcher for phones, and you could download the game through the Epic launcher on your Android phone.
Bravo,
and play
Epic.
it.
Bravo.
Play it just like you could on a PC, right?
Stick it to the man.
Yeah, and Google was like, cool, man, that's totally fine. I guess their argument is, well, you get more exposure if you're on the Play Store. It's more of a trusted source. You're more likely to get downloads. So if you want to do it on your own, go for it. But Apple, as we know, on the other hand, does not allow stuff like that. You cannot download apps from third-party websites. You can only download apps from the App Store. So the fact that they've been banned from the App Store for the same exact reason, essentially Epic released their own payment method secretly, a secret announcement, a secret update to their app, allowed you to purchase V-Bucks, which is the in-game currency you use to buy your stupid outfits and your stupid dance moves, essentially directly from Epic instead of through Apple. And it actually saved the user some money. Instead of where it would normally cost $9.99 to pay for 1,000 V-Bucks, you'd only pay $7.99. So you save yourself $2 on 1,000 V-Bucks. Kind of a big deal. So really, Epic clearly was doing this for the consumers. They weren't saying like, hey, 1,000 V-Bucks is still $9.99, but you're paying us instead of Apple, so we're getting our money back, right? No, they were doing it for the consumer, saving you guys a little bit of money. But Apple took notice of that and immediately kicked them off the App Store for doing that. If you have already downloaded the game to your phone, you still can play it. You can still play it, but unfortunately you would not get to download any of the new updates for Fortnite unless you're an Android user, like I said, where they've kind of reverted back to this methodology of download the game from their own launcher. And also you can continue to get those updates, just not through Google Play. So very interesting, man. What's your take on that?
I agree. It's very interesting. So I don't know if you saw, there was another article that came out today at 2:00 on Rock Paper Shotgun by Imogen Beck-Healing, who's a news writer for them. Epic Games is now suing Google and Apple for booting Fortnite off those app stores. And so it's not really for damages, basically. What they're suing them for is injunctive relief, which would end the monopolies that Google and Apple have on that market. So Epic's got its own game launcher on PC, and like you said, they threw one up there for Fortnite on phones. I'm thinking that what they're trying to do now is probably jump into that Play Store, area where they can get a piece of the pie, right? So they're trying to say that these guys got a monopoly on that. They're trying to break up those monopolies and probably get their hand in the pot. And so who knows, man? Maybe we'll see an epic Play Store for Apple. That'd be interesting. You have your iPhone, and now you don't have to exclusively download from the Apple Store. You can actually download from an Epic Store. That would be interesting, right?
It would be interesting. And as an iPhone user, formerly Android user for a long time, I'm honestly of two minds about that. I 100% agree about the monopoly situation. how can you only have one app store for all of iOS, right? As large of a piece of that pie that they own when it comes to the mobile market. How's that possible? How's that not a monopoly? But also, every time I go to the app store and download an app, I have this much worry. I'm holding up a 0 for you audio listeners. I have zero worry that I'm going to download something malicious, that my information is going to be stolen, that I'm at risk for privacy, that there's going to be spyware, any of this sort of stuff. On Android, though, I was a lot more wary of that sort of stuff because usually if I'm downloading from the Google Play Store, I feel like those apps have been vetted. But working for a company who develops apps, for our own customers, I know that the approval process for Google is much shorter than it is for Apple. I don't think they kind of vet apps as thoroughly as Apple might. So I'm two minds about it because as a consumer, I feel safe downloading anything from the App Store. So if they opened it up and like, okay, fine, here's a bunch of random third-party app stores, good luck. Hopefully you stay safe. Yeah. But also as a consumer, you just got to do your own research, make sure you're protecting yourself, not downloading anything shady, and you should be okay. But yeah, I think good on Epic for kind of leading the charge there. It's going to take somebody as large as Epic, probably with a couple of companies backing them and doing the same sort of thing, to make any kind of movement in that space, because Apple will fight to the death to keep just the App Store on their iPhones, to keep that walled garden, as people refer to it, and own that entire piece of the pie for as long as they can.
I recommend we all sit back, grab some popcorn, and watch the fun unfold as these two giant crybaby companies fight out a legal battle.
Yes.
All right, guys, I got one last thing for us here, and I think we're all gonna, have a chance for us to rejoice, have a little bit of fun. Certainly, if you're a Walking Dead fan and a VR fan, you can certainly rejoice here. Let me show you guys a little video I got here, a trailer actually for The Walking Dead in VR. Check this out.
Oh, snap, son.
Snap diggity dog. September has been confirmed as the launch date for Walking Dead Onslaught. To be exact, September 29th. It's going to be on the Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, Valve Index, and PlayStation VR, with pre-orders going live today for the PC edition. Snap. Pre-ordering will gain you exclusive weapons and character skins, with the base game retailing at $30 and the deluxe edition dropping at $40. Single player only, guys. Sorry, co-op's been dropped.
Lame.
I know.
Lame.
Yeah, dude. I thought the same. Why would they drop co-op?
Yeah, dude. It should be a non-start. It should be a non-starter if you can't do co-op.
Yeah, man.
Like, what episode of The Walking Dead did you watch that there was not more than one person? I mean, there probably are a few, but like, the whole point is having your squad.
Right.
But anyways, I'm excited. I'm a Walking Dead fan. Well, I was up until like season 17 or wherever they're at now. That's an exaggeration, guys. They think they're on like season 9 or something. But I stopped watching it like season 5. But that looks awesome. The trailer you're showing looks great.
Yeah, definitely.
I love zombie slayers too. So, if I get to play as Rick, if I get to scream, Coral!
Hey, I have to pause the stream. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I'm back. Our tree just fell.
What?
Yeah, in our front yard.
Is it windy outside?
I didn't think so, but it just like split in half, I think. And it's laying on our front lawn. I don't think it's done any damage to our house, but let's go ahead and wrap this up real quick because I got to go check it out. I'm going to go ahead. I think that's it for games, guys. Let's go ahead and give a quick shout out, and I'm going to transition, okay?
Let's do it.
All right, guys, we're back.
We are back. Let's wrap this bad boy up. All right, the last segment of every show, we like to do a little shout outs, share the love with some podcasters out there who are trying to grow their show just like we're trying to grow ours. This week, we're shouting out the Nerd Nostalgia podcast. If you guys might not have guessed it, the show's about nerd nostalgia. Wow.
Whoa,
what a
awesome.
groundbreaking revelation there. But no, this is in all seriousness, this is a perfect recommendation for our audience, considering we're a couple of nerds in our own right. But this is hosted by 3 recurring hosts, Brian, Irvin, and Trey. They cover everything from comic books, nerd news, movie reviews, and more. And it's great for someone like me, honestly, who's not super into nerd culture, but kind of interested enough to learn more. Like, I'm definitely not a comic book nerd. Obviously, you look in the background of the beard's set up there. You see comic books plastered on the wall there, the Hulk. But for somebody like me that's not like super into it, it's fun to listen to these guys because they kind of take I would say like a high level approach at like explaining certain things and giving their opinion on certain things. And it's easy enough for me as like an outsider, quote unquote, to kind of learn something new and get interested in something. And then if I'm interested enough, I can go in and dig a little bit deeper on my own and get into something new. But again, they cover nerd culture without being boring. They have a great time. The 3 guys, they riff on each other all the time. It's a lot of fun to listen to. And just have great, funny moments throughout their show. So we found them on Instagram. I've chatted with them a few times on Instagram, but I listened to their podcast on Apple Podcasts. So I definitely recommend you guys go check them out there. Fair warning, though, I did notice that in at least my Apple Podcast app, the album art is different than what you're seeing here on the stream. So just be wary of that. But again, great show to listen to. Brian, Irvin, and Trey, keep up the good work, guys. We love your show.
Yes, guys, definitely keep it up. Can't wait to hear more. That's for sure. So
yeah.
All right. Well, real quick before we wrap up, I just want to say once again, guys, if you like what you saw here, please follow us on Twitch, like and subscribe on YouTube, like and subscribe on your favorite podcast player. If you really want to help us, guys, share it with a friend. We appreciate you. We love what we're doing here. We're having tons of fun with it, and we hope you are too. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys in the next one. And Reese is going to go check out that exploded tree.
Let you guys know how that goes. So until next time. Later.
All right. See ya.